Here's how I think you should think about your giving if you're serious about following Jesus. And I hope you're willing to talk about this with a small group or with a mentor. Your giving should be these three things. Number one, your giving should be regular. You know, when I was younger, I would give just whenever there was a missionary at church and someone would come forward and say, hey, we've got this important need. And listen, it's really good to give to missionaries and important sort of occasional needs in the church. You know, there's a campaign for feeding the hungry, or there's a campaign for, there's a clothing drive or something like that. That's good giving too. But if you want to be a follower of Jesus that really honors God with your giving, I want to challenge you with this. Your giving should be regular. And so for my wife and I, that means that we give every single month, at the very least, we give every single month to our church and also to some missionaries. And then secondly, your giving should be proportionate. Now, again, I don't want to get into the debate. You can look on our library for more resources on tithing and whether tithing's biblical. There's all kinds of stuff on that in there. But for this video, I just want to challenge you with this. Your giving should be proportionate. What I mean by that is this, that it should be in proportion to how much you make. Let me make this really, really simple. The people in the church, this is, I think, how God looks at it. The people in the church who make a lot of money should be giving more than the people in the church who don't make a lot of money, just simply because of proportions, right? So if I give 10% of what I make and I only make $20,000 and my buddy makes $1 million and he gives 10%, you can go ahead and do the math. It's pretty obvious that my buddy's going to be a big giver. Now, proportionately, we're both the same kind of giver, but he's a much bigger giver because giving should be proportionate. I like to think of it like this. The gift of giving, and I know that you can debate this. This is a good question to debate with your mentors or with your small group. But the gift of giving, I really believe the gift of giving is best for wealthy people to have. Now, I know a lot of people who are not very wealthy who are great givers proportionately. They give a very good proportion. And if you're listening, I want you to keep doing that. Good on you. Keep it up. But I want to talk to the guy who's out there who's listening who makes a ton of money and doesn't give diddly squat. You should have the gift of giving. If you are a follower of Jesus, if you take your faith seriously, I beg of you to become a better giver proportionately. Make it be in proportion to your income. Now you might say, well, what proportion? Are you saying I should give 10%? All right, listen, if you don't give 10% yet, how about this? Start with 1% and then 2%. Eventually stretch yourself to give 5% and then to give 10%. There's no rule about giving 10%. In fact, there's a guy that lived in the early 1900s who gave 90%. He was extremely wealthy, and he gave 90% of his income to the kingdom of God, and he only kept 10% for himself. Now, 10% for himself was still a lot of money, and some of you rich guys out there, you can handle that, and now that's between you and God to deal with, but the point is your giving should be proportionate. Look at what Paul says in 2 Corinthians 8:7. Since you excel in so many ways, in your faith, your gifted speakers, your knowledge, your enthusiasm, and your love from us, I want you to excel also in this gracious act of giving. If you're a follower of Jesus and you are not very good at giving, but you're good at going to church, you're good at saying you're a Christian, you're good at maybe a Bible study, that's great. I challenge you to also excel and get good at giving. Make sure that you give to kingdom purposes. Make sure that you give to good, solid ministries. Don't just give to some ministry that's going to, not handle your money well. Give to qualified, godly, disciple-building ministries. But I hope you grow in the grace of giving. Here's the third thing. Giving should be sacrificial. Okay, so it should be regular, proportionate, and then this third thing, it should be sacrificial. And what that simply means is that if your giving does not ever hurt you, if it's never a sacrifice to give, then maybe you need to give a little bit more. Giving should be sacrificial. I'll give you a simple example in my own life. my wife and I, because of our giving, we don't buy a new car every couple of years. Now, trust me, the giving that we give, we could do that. We certainly could keep up with the Joneses and keep up with our neighbor, but that's just one small sacrifice. And some of you would say that's not a very big sacrifice. And you're right. There are other people who sacrifice a lot more than that. But the point is this, and everybody's going to have to deal with this between them and God for themselves. But the point is this, is your giving sacrificial? Does it ever hurt? If you've got kids, this is a great gift to your kids if you show them that you're a sacrificial giver, because they're going to see that you value something more than your stuff. And isn't that what you want your kids to see? That you value something more than your stuff? Jesus said, wherever your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So what Jesus says is, your heart follows your treasure. So what you give to, you fall in love with. And so listen, be sacrificial for the kingdom, give to the kingdom, and you'll fall in love with the kingdom. And if you've got kids, hopefully they'll learn to fall in love with the kingdom also.